Mrs. Annela Kiirats will just show some services that also talk about the identity services. So please, Annela, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arvo. So hello, it's really good to be back here again. This is my third time in Nagaland, and our good cooperation between Estonia and Nagaland started actually in 2014 when Commissioner Viso was visiting Estonia and attending our e-governance 5-day course on e-government implementation. And since then, we are very glad to see that he has been one of the pioneers on e-government implementation in Nagaland. And since this year, happy to have Mr. Pradhan on board with us also. And seeing that Honorable Governor has spent so much his time this morning here shows that e-government is dealt on a highest level, and there is now only way forward to e-government in Nagaland or e-Nagaland. But I will talk about e-life of citizens. So just reminded to myself that 18 years ago, when I started my university studies on IT, it was year 2000, so then we were only in baby steps of e-government in Estonia. Today, 18 years later, this e-government is a new normality for citizens, and that can be the same in your case. So be very active as citizens to ask different e-services from your government. Don't be afraid to interact with your government and asking for e-solutions. Can I have my slides? Yeah. Next one, please. So we have been talking or mentioning this X-Road several times, just with a couple of words what it actually is. So the new word you have to study is interoperability. So it means that you digitize your information and create a context or architecture where you can start exchanging information digitally. So all for a good cause. So the back office can be automated. You don't have, as Arvo already showed, you don't have to take your papers to each and every different government institutions to get your services, but government institution can actually cooperate or interact with each other digitally and provide you the final result service for you. The principle of our e-government model was a decentralized solution. It means that all different government institutions are still keeping the data they were keeping before, but now they are just connected with a solution that you can exchange information. Also, clearing the data, so no duplication. So there is a master data rule, which government institution is responsible for what information. If some other institution needs that piece of information from each other, there are agreements set that data is exchanged between those institutions to provide you this e-kind of life. Next slide, please. Yeah. So the second basis, what we need for e-government is unique identifier or digital identity. So in an Estonian case, everything is based on ID card, because when we started early 2000s with this ID card project, we didn't have mobile IDs, but today, but today, as Mr. Pradhan already checked, everybody has mobile here. So this is your way forward, that you can be identified and confirm your decisions and sign documents using your mobile ID, and you don't have to have separately this ID card type of token. Now go back to previous one. So why I put this ID card door picture? So what is really important is awareness. So to make ordinary citizens understand that the piece or token you are holding, it doesn't contain all sensitive or all information about you. So nobody, if somebody takes your phone, they don't steal your identity. So this token is only a tool to different services. So if you need a service, then you log in using your mobile ID, but the service provision is given you by different institutions based on information they have in their databases. And yeah, it's the token is a key, not the storage, to keep information. Next slide, please. And the third, as I already slightly mentioned, is awareness. What it has to be done in parallel is talking about this e-government, what it is this e-service. In Estonia also, this is like several years already when we have had this e-government, but like 3-4 years after we got our first ID cards, people, not all people, still didn't understand what this e-government or e-service is. So what is really important to actually implement these awareness-raising campaigns, and there are many ways to do it, using your public media, teaching pupils in schools, providing additional courses, or just talking about it all the time. Just one more comment about this awareness raising, that these mobile phones you keep in your hands, it's just not only playing games or texting with your friends. It's also a tool, or your knowledge, to teach your parents how to, once you have this mobile ID solution, that how to pay electricity bill, or how to connect government institutions. That was actually the same in Estonia. I am still teaching my parents in some cases how to communicate with your government, or how to send different applications, or how to update your software in your computer. So this is why you are very important for e-government development. And now go back to this police picture. Yeah. So everybody is using social networking, and so can government institutions. So for example, in Estonia, how police is connecting themselves with citizens. So police is nobody you have to be afraid of. Police is your companion in solving different issues. So they also want to show you what they are doing, and only by liking the page you can follow all the activities that they are doing in public. Next slide. So talking about the life cycle, some examples of how this digital life of citizen is organized. So from birth to death. So the grounds for everything is actually a proper population or citizen registry, to have all your people registered and to provide them with unique identifier. So this unique identifier is my digital name. So they might be several people with the same name, but the number that connects my name is unique. And this number is used in different databases to connect me. So whatever government institution keeps any piece of data about me, they connect this piece of data using my unique identifier. So if you insert Annela Kiirats, there might be 10 of me, so-called, and then you have to know additional features to actually identify me. But having this unique code, that is the linkage between different databases. I've heard from several countries that the problem of not having this unique identifier, so one person can apply for social benefits or can apply for different one-time services from several places, and there is a duplication. So once you have this unique connection and the communication between databases, we can already take away those problems that there can be some double action on somebody. Next slide. So the first example, birth of a child. So when the child is born, we are actually, the child is already getting digital name. So this is this unique code that is provided by population registry to the hospital. So by the time the child is leaving from the hospital, he or she already has a number. He has a digital name. During 1 month time, parents have to name a child, and when parents are married, this is also e-service, electronic service. You don't have to take your birth certificate of a child and go to your local government, but you can actually name your child electronically while your child is sleeping next door. So going on to education. So when your child goes to kindergarten, then you can sign up your child using electronic this application form, sending it to your local government. When your child goes to first grade, so based on information from a population registry, your government already knows when exactly your child should go to the school, and they are sending you a message that your child is now old enough to go to school, please register your child. As kindergarten is not mandatory, so you don't have to put your child to kindergarten, but they have to go to school, and this is why it is important to notify parents that this is a year where your child should go to school. Some local governments have also additional solution to even show the closest school with available seats for your child. But you can choose to which school you can put your child, but the preference is also, of course, closest to your home. Then notification to parents, registration to child to your school is also online application. Additional courses, so if your child takes additional courses in schools that you have to pay, then this is something that is also done electronically, that the local government who is governing this education, primary education, sends this payment information to tax authority online, and my tax authority already knows that I have paid some extra fees and I get some taxes back next year from this. So I don't have to go and tell my tax authority that I made some additional payments. And information sharing between school and local governments and Ministry of Education, everything is done digitally, so I don't have to go and take papers into different institutions. So e-school environment, next slide please. So this is transparent communication between parents, teachers, and local governments, and also Ministry of Education. So Ministry gets reports from local governments. School is communicating with the local governments. Me as a parent, I can see how my child is doing in school by logging into this website and getting all the grades and comments from teachers. Next slide. So students and parents are actually transparently communicating. I remember when 2004 this solution came into practice. Children who were not used to this, they didn't like this solution at first, because why should my parent know where I am in school or just walking around? But nowadays it's again like a normality that I don't have to. I can log in from the Nagaland. I can still see how my child is doing in school, how was she made today, and what she has to study for tomorrow. Next slide. So this is parent view. So I can also send absence notes online, not piece of paper to put into her school bag to send her or to send this excuse, but I can communicate directly with the teacher. Next slide. And also really convenient for teachers, because in my time I remember that teachers were actually not communicating with each other, and sometimes we had like 3 big tests for the same day, and it was like really heavy study load. Today, all teachers can see this teacher view, and if they can see that one teacher has already given one big task for tomorrow, I will give my task for after tomorrow. So you can spread the work, like study load for pupils as well. The next slide. So when we are talking about working, then I can register a company online. So if I want to become an entrepreneur, I don't have to take my papers to some registry. I can register online. I pay my taxes online, and this information I'm sending to tax authority. They are already providing me back next year when I'm filing in my tax declaration. So this is already pre-filled for me. The employer can send statistical information to statistics board. So in order to make statistics like what is the average salary of NGO or enterprise, or what is the average grade university studies or high school studies. So this information can be sent online as well. If some other company wants to cooperate with me and I have no idea who they are, I now have a possibility to check their background online. So just inserting the company name, I can see who are the owners, who are the board members, about the tax activity. Are they doing good, or do they own any taxes to the government? Or how trustworthy they are. And me as a physical person, I file in my tax declaration online, and this is already pre-filled. So if I have one job, my child goes to school, no additional incomes or payments, then basically I just have to confirm this, and that's it. So I don't have to insert any additional information. Next slide. So this is just a print screen of this entrepreneur portal environment where I can register my company. Once the company is registered, I can change board members. I send annual reports to business registry without, again, printing out any documents. I'm signing it online. And I can communicate with government institutions online. Next slide. And this is a print screen of my actual tax declaration. So under these black boxes, I have some numbers, but basically I just have to read through what information tax authority sent me, and then I confirm, so all the information is correct, so I don't have to make any calculations myself anymore. Next slide. Talking about my health. So all information related to my health has to be visible for me. So any hospital I have ever been, Any relevant information about my health, this is provided for me online if I log in again in a secure way using my mobile ID or ID card. And this is my right. I need to know all information about me. I also see whom I represent, and I see my child's information until she's grown up, and then this information is closed for me. But really important is this authorization that not all doctors or not all officials can see any of my data. This is only based on authorization who can see my data, and I have a right to ask why somebody asks my data if that person is not my doctor, for example. Next slide. So this is when I have already logged into the portal. First, I decide, it means that I can close, I have a right to close my medical information to any of the doctors if I want. So this is a decision that was made in Estonia that medical institution insert specific amount of information about the patient, and now I have a right to close it if I decide so. And I monitor, it means that I monitor which doctor has been looking at my data, and this is why it's regulated in Estonia that all queries have to be done via the X-Road that logs all the transactions. So everything related to me has to be visible for me, and all questions asked between government institutions are also logged to prevent that somebody is doing something wrong or asking some questions they are not allowed to ask. Next slide. So all services must be easy to use, and all government public services must be free of charge for the end user. This is the only way forward that how we can push people to use these e-services. If they are costly or they are difficult to use, then it's really difficult to put this wheel rolling, but yeah, public services in Estonia, again, the decision was that these have to be free of charge for the end user. So different services I can do, previous one still, via this portal. So the challenge again, many countries say that we have different e-services in place, but in some reason people don't use them. Can you say why? And the problem is, again, about this awareness. Citizens don't know that this kind of e-service is available. They don't know how to use it. They don't know where to find it. So therefore, it has to be very easy and simple to use. And one option is to gather different services into one portal, call it one-stop shop. So you sign in once, and all services behind you can apply for different services like change your place of residence. So if previously in paper version time we had to register ourselves out from a previous local government and now register ourselves in, taking the new paper into a new local government, now we only have to register ourselves in, and we are automatically registered out from previous local government because this is digital information. So there can't be two addresses at the same time, and this is my primary address. And based on this primary address, I also get different benefits from a country, from the government. My taxes go to my local government based on this information. So this is why it's really important to register yourself where you actually live. Next slide. About internet voting, Karvo already told, but still to avoid this digital divide, we still have both options available. So people can vote online, people can still go to polling station if they want. So today actually it's some young people who can vote for the first time. They are all aware of this e-solution, but they are just curious that how this polling station look like. So I would like to go there this time. But internet voting was mainly created to keep the voters. So again, to make this voting process as easy as possible to all voters. Next slide. So one example of road service, I can, if my car plate number is lost or doesn't look good anymore, I can order a plate number. I can see the ownership and users of different cars that I am connected to. I can order new driver's license via this portal. So different, like ordinary actions I can do online. I don't have to go to road service physically and ask for those services. In our case, we don't have to carry driver's license anymore with us because all information about me as a driver, this is in different databases available. And what police only needs is actually my ID cards to identify me, to get this unique code that is my digital name. By entering the code, they make different queries from different databases, whether I own the car, whether I have driver's license, whether I have my car inspection done, all this. So there was example, a couple of months ago, I was visiting one country and I was supposed to meet with one lady at 7 o'clock. She came like 45 minutes later saying that I couldn't find this car passport because my husband put it someplace and I can't drive without it because police will find me. That was a case in Estonia as well 20 years ago, but now as all the data is digitized, there is no need to carry those documents or papers with us, and police can make the query online asking about it. Next slide. So a really good initiative, what is done by police, again using social networking channel, Facebook. I can mark down problematic places all across the country. If there are problems with speeding or like problems with crossing the street or pedestrian or traffic lights are not regulated or some other traffic-related issue, I can mark down it on the map, and police is actually analyzing all this feedback and acting accordingly. So this is how I can help our police forces to better coordinate the traffic as well. Next slide. And as Christmas is already here, then one nice example, as a last example from Estonia, that if you live in an apartment in a city, then the only possibility for you to buy a Christmas tree used to be from the market with a very high price. Now, as our state has a lot of forest, and the areas where they will cut the trees anyway, you can actually buy a Christmas tree from a forest by walking into the forest, picking the suitable tree yourself, paying for the tree that is 5 times less than buying it from the market. You have a nice day outside with your family, going to nature, buying the tree, what you exactly like, and bring it home. And the confirmation is sent by SMS. So if this person or inspector is walking in the forest asking, do you have a permission to cut this tree, you can show the SMS that you have paid for the tree, and everybody's happy. So, yes, next slide to conclude. E-government makes this, creates faster and more convenient communication for us with government as a citizen, and brings transparency, because I have now a right to ask and to see every information my government keeps about me. Thank you.
We planned now to have some questions.